Da 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 da. Don't copyright me.
It's fine. I don't think we'll get copywritten.
No, that sounded awful. So, welcome to episode 48 of 2 Degrees of Separation. We are your hosts. My name is Eli.
My name is Jacob.
Jacob. You know what I'm saying?
No.
What happened to Jacob?
Died.
No. Just straight up, he said, died.
Killed him. Killed him.
So this is it. This is it. Part 2 of the conspiracy theories.
User.
I feel like, Jacob, listen, I don't know if you went through what I went through, because you're just already like you're just in this realm of existence, right? You're just already here.
I was thinking about this over the past week, and the reason I ever got into this in the first place was straight up Uncharted, I think 1. The
What?
end of Uncharted 1, they talk about the Anunnaki, like right at the very end. And I was like, that's cool. And then I just started looking into it. Ask Dad. I've been on the train since I was like 11.
That's actually wild. That's actually, he says I was 11. That's crazy. Like, so we talked last week very briefly that I wasn't quite sure what topic I was going to do. And I had a couple topics, and then there was one that I like committed to, and I was writing about it, and I was getting it all together. And then I was just like, nah, I'm not feeling it. And then I found this other one. And it's like, this is like it's like not even a single theory, okay? This is like a rabbit hole of actual proven history to a degree, I guess.
Absolute
Which is
tomfoolery.
Dude, it's horrifying. Dude. And then not only, all right, so I was doing the research for this, and this stuff tied into the thing I was already I was already doing. So I was like, oh, all right, well, this is it. This is perfect then. And then it also brings into play stuff you talked about last week.
Heck yeah.
So that's what makes it like, I was like, this is
the perfect conspiracy theory.
The perfect conspiracy theory. So I'm trying to think of even how to start this, because it's this is
what is it?
Dude, how did you, before we get into it, how long did it take you to write yours?
2 hours.
Dog, I don't like you. Like, the amount of like reading that I've done over this past week in writing, I've never written a paper this long.
That's good though, hey? That's rad.
No, it's disgusting. But I learned a lot about history. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff in here that is like, it's I have actual documentation backed by this. Like, it sucks that the people listening can't see everything. Like, in all of my notes, so Jacob can see the notes, and I put links to, like, I'm gonna be mentioning a lot of names, like people, a lot of places,
nouns,
nouns, no, a lot of books, a lot of this stuff, I'm gonna be honest with you, I am gonna absolutely butcher the names. Like, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce half of this stuff, because I don't think any of them are English. So
they never are. They never are.
Yeah, they never are. So it was cool learning about all this stuff and learning about how this theory. There are cultures across the world, like I'm talking like everywhere in the world, that all partake in this theory.
Dude, I'm telling you. I mean, it was like last time. Like last week
Dude.
when I was talking about it. They all participate in the same 7 sages, dude. It's wild. Why are they all the same?
No.
Why are they all the same but different, you know?
I don't even know if they like the weird thing about this is I wouldn't even say that they're so much different, because a lot of them, they still all kind of say roughly around the same thing. So it's very,
well,
slightly horrifying.
Let's get right
into the news.
Yes, sir.
So, just to because I didn't really know how to name this theory, but it starts with a man named John Sims. Have you ever heard of John Sims?
Did he make The Sims?
No, he did not. His last name's spelled different.
I know. I just wanted to ask.
So, John Sims, he wasn't much of a writer per se. He wrote notes for lectures and such, and he lectured all over the place to a ton of people. In the year 1818, he wrote about the hollow earth theory. Okay? The hollow earth theory.
The hollow earth theory.
The hollow earth theory. So his speculation was that the earth is a shell with walls. Like there's the outer layer being a wall, right? And it being 800 miles thick.
The ice wall.
Dude, 800.
The ice wall.
And here's the thing. In the polar regions, so that being, you know, obviously the North Pole, South Pole, there are holes that stretch roughly 14,000 miles across that have a smooth curve, creating like an actual like.
It looks like it's just sinking, like warping into the ground.
Warping
like
in
someone
on
put
itself.
their finger into like Play-Doh or something.
Yeah. So
I have a question.
Oh dang! All right, what
was this guy flat earther?
Brother. He comes up with the hollow earth theory, and he says, was he a flat earther? Like, so instead of the earth being completely flat, all right, imagine like a plane, but then just at the edges, it conforms on itself. It conforms on itself, right?
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
It just rolls over to the back.
Oh, I see.
No, I'm kidding.
I see what you're doing here.
No. He said, I get it. All right, so this takes us to way back, right? All right, so we said in 1818, this John Sims guy wrote about the hollow earth theory. And then if we go back to last week's episode, so if you haven't listened to last week's episode, I highly suggest it because there are a couple things that are going to play into what Jacob said last week. Plato, back in roughly the year 360 BC,
they
in
had
that
it back
time
then?
frame. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Do you think it still smelled as weird?
What had what? Huh, it had what?
Play-Doh.
Dude. No, all right. So Plato, the Plato, right? He was taught, right, about the city of Atlantis from the Egyptians, right? Is that what it was?
It was
or somebody that went to
his
Egypt.
relative who went over to Egypt.
Yeah. And so Plato wrote about the city of Atlantis, okay?
Yeah.
And then roughly about 100 years later, in Greece, there was a man named, like I said, I'm going to butcher half these names, Herodotus. I could be butchering this.
I feel like it's like Herodotus.
It probably is like
Or
Herodotus. It's actually a tight name. But so this man Herodotus actually he's written multiple things. You can actually the University of Chicago has like they have translated books that this man wrote, okay? And you can the University of Chicago, you can go to the website and you can read like everything that this man wrote, which is like crazy. And he spoke of a land called Hyperborea. Okay? But he's not the only one that spoke of said place.
Oh?
There are multiple authors in the time of Greece that have talked about this Hyperborea. They all called it the same thing. And an interesting little side note for Herodotus. All right. This man also talked about Egypt, dog. He talked about the pyramids.
Heck yeah.
And so he didn't just talk about the pyramids. He talked about a place that he said it's within it there were 12 palaces with terraces, and they were arranged around 12 separate halls. All right? He said the walls were covered with carved figures, and he in his own words stated that it was hard to believe that man did it. Okay? He said each court was built with white marble, which was it lime? What was the pyramids made out of?
Pyramids made out of a few things. I think granite was one of them.
But if all right, if we're just talking about it, right? Could you not?
It was limestone, granite, gypsum, alabaster, mud bricks, and basalt.
But the thing it was white and shiny originally, right?
That is what the pyramid looked like. Yeah, it was white and then it had a gold top to it.
Yeah. So he said that each court of these 12 halls, or 12 palaces, sorry, they were built out of marble, and they were surrounded by a colonnade. So like, if you look at like places in, Rome and Greece today, a colonnade being like a wall of pillars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he said near where this structure ended, in the corner of where the structure ended, was a pyramid 240 feet in height. Okay.
Yeet.
And he said from multiple reliable sources is the way he put it, that there was an entrance in this pyramid that went down, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And it led to passageways that connected all of the pyramids in Memphis, which Memphis, it's an old name for that area in Egypt. So he claimed that basically all of these pyramids are interconnected underground. Bananas, okay?
Yeah.
This is a complete side note.
I feel like at one point I read or heard that they were connected because they were like often raided or something. But
the pyramids?
Yeah, bandits came through, man.
All right. Okay.
I don't know if that's true, but I remember hearing something like that.
So, just tying this individual back into what Jacob is talking about. So, Herodotus that's the name we're going with because it sounds much better than whatever the heck I said. Herodotus. Herodotus. Okay.
Herodotus.
So he wrote about a land named Hyperborea, and he actually claimed that Hyperborea at some point was destroyed by ice.
Who'da thunk? Dude, giant eraser.
Dude.
Giant eraser.
And as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, there's no, dog, there's no, stop it. Dog,
I know.
Stop.
I'm telling you, it all comes back to the same hooby looby.
Stop. Dude. And he also stated that the inhabitants of Hyperborea, actually, some of them made it out and they migrated south. Okay?
Ooh, I wonder where south they went.
I wonder.
Oh.
So this brings us to an interesting place. Okay, there are multiple sources that believe that Hyperborea was split into 2 lands. Okay, and the name at that point in time, you can look this up. Their names were Thule and Ultima Thule. Okay. And in the year 1679, a Swedish author, Olof Rudbeck, stated that in an area in Sweden at this point in time called Old Uppsala.
Dude, this guy's name was Olaf Rudbeck the Elder.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, right.
Dude.
He stated that he
Foul
himself...
tarnished? Is that what he stated?
No. He...
Foul tarnished.
I swear, he's straight up out of Elden Ring, dude.
He looks like if he hugged me, I'd have a curse for the rest of the game.
So, he actually stated, okay, that he found burial sites in Sweden, in Old Uppsala, that were massive. These grave sites, and I don't mean massive as in like a bunch of bodies were put there. They were massive in a single grave site for an individual. All right. He said that these graves, they were for like very tall bodies.
Oh man.
They're not the average sized people. All right.
Here we go.
And so
here we go.
Going back to Thule and Ultima Thule, and kind of tying in Old Uppsala being Sweden, Hyperborea was split, Thule, Ultima Thule, and those actually, in today's terms, Thule is Iceland, and Ultima Thule is Greenland. So, Herodotus claimed that people made it out of Hyperborea and they migrated south. Boom. All right. Boom. Split into 2. I'm not saying, all right. I'm not saying they straight that definitely they were there. All right. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting because Olaf Rudbeck, he specifically stated that he believed that these graves too belonged to the Atlanteans. I don't even know how, but I couldn't find, but you can go to Google, do your little internet research, right? You can attempt to read, I don't know if there's an English translation. You can read the book in which he talks about this. I don't know if I cited it in here or not.
You cited
I did.
I did. Yeah.
No, I did. I did cite the book in
Atlant.
Yeah.
Stating that.
Yes.
Ancient Sweden.
Yeah, dude. Old Uppsala. I'm probably butchering the name.
Okay, but where do the Vikings come into play?
All right, so where do the Vikings come into play? What? The Vikings?
Sweden?
So Sweden?
Come on.
In 18, like I said, there's going to be a lot of names, a lot of books. In 1873, there was a writer, Louis Jacoliot, I would guess is how you'd pronounce his name. And he wrote a book named Les Filles du Dieu.
Les Filles du Dieu.
La Fille?
Les Filles du Dieu.
And in this book, he talks about how he actually had some friends who they're called Brahmin, and the Brahmin individuals, they are Hindu members of a high class, like in like the Hindu society. So spiritually, they are like, you know, people look up to them. So they were typically priests and teachers.
You want to know what the translation of Lefi Diu is?
A Lefi Dudu? What'd you say? What?
You want to know what,
what is that?
It's son of God.
What? That's actually wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. But so, in this book, in Lefi Dudu, he talks about how he actually had some Brahmin acquaintances or friends that multiple people told him about this city called Asgarth. Oh, nope, Asgartha. Sorry, Asgartha. And they also claimed that the city was destroyed.
Asgartha or Agartha?
Asgartha. No.
Agartha?
Asgartha. Nope. Asgartha.
Asgartha?
They called the name Asgartha.
Are you sure?
Listen to me. The Brahmin people. Trust me, Jacob. I know where I'm going with this. It was Asgartha. He says, "Are you sure?" It was Asgartha. It's the way they told him.
I'll take your word for it.
That's the way they said it. And then about 10 years later, there was another individual, and he's written multiple pieces of work, named Alexander Saint Yev. I'm not going to pronounce his last name because there's no way. And he also, so 10 years later, after Louis, he talked about a place very close in name, but he called it Agartha.
Ah.
So where did Saint Yev get this place from? Where did it come from him?
Mm-hmm.
He was actually being taught Sanskrit by an individual from he was from India, and he was being personally taught, like you're talking daily. This man every day was sitting down with this man learning Sanskrit, and his name was Harji Sharif. And Sharif, when teaching him Sanskrit, he would kind of drop hints at this place called Agartha. And he never really, so Saint Yev would kind of try to, in the process of learning Sanskrit, he would kind of try to pull information away from Sharif.
Right.
Try to get a little bit more detail on what this place was, what Agartha was.
I gotta know.
Sharif kind of talked about it being like a holy land.
Oh, gotcha.
And so Saint Yev, in the time of learning Sanskrit with Sharif, he ended up stating in one of his books that he visited Agartha through the means of astral projection.
Ah, that's hilarious, dude. I've got it all centered around. Oh my god.
This is 1886.
No.
All right.
That's crazy.
So I'm saying the year 1886. He said he visited Agartha through astral projection, and he wrote down a very detailed description of what this city was. Okay? And he claimed that Agartha still exists.
Heck yeah.
It was not destroyed. But more so, it's underground.
Oh.
So topically, it may have been destroyed, but it still exists underground.
How to get down there?
So, all right. Saint Yev, okay. In writing this information down, he actually was preparing. He wrote a book, and that's the book we're talking about. He wrote this book, and there were only a handful of copies that were actually released to individuals, and he was actually threatened by Sharif's people.
Oh, what are they, the mob?
I guess. No, he was threatened, and they basically told him, like, the world's not ready for this.
You better not tell nobody about our gathering spot.
Can't do it.
We'll have you beaten and battered.
We're taking it out of you.
We'll throw you into the river, pal. Roll you up in a carpet.
I swear. So, Saint Yev, in the state of being, blackmailed, right? He destroyed all but 2 copies of this book. Okay, and I can't even I can try to pronounce the name of it. It's Mission de l'Inde in Europe. Okay, 2 copies of the book were destroyed, and he gave one to another. I think it was a physicist that he knew, and his name was Gerard. And Gerard ended up taking the book, he ended up taking the book, and he kind of like compacted it to make sense. And the book wasn't actually officially released until 1910, which is actually kind of crazy when you think about it, because that's not like that long ago, right?
That's when women got the right to vote, right? That was 10 years before. Dang.
Close enough.
Dang, that's sad.
Dang.
That's even worse, honestly.
Yeah. And all right, so another little interesting tidbit about Saint Yev that is once again tying back into what Jacob said on last week's episode was that Saint Yev was the first person in history that we know of to claim that the Great Sphinx was much older than previously thought. Not only that, he believed it was created roughly around 12,000 BC. By who?
Dang.
He said it was by the people that escaped Atlantis.
Oh, dang.
Dude. Could you imagine?
Dude, all right, I've been on this wave. What are you talking about? Could I imagine?
So, yeah, Jacob's got it on lock. So, this brings us to, so we've talked about how people recorded that Hyperborea was destroyed, and the people that managed to escape, they migrated south between the lands of Thule and Ultima Thule, which very interestingly enough would be right the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, so maybe.
So this is bringing us back to, all right, craters. People talked about holes in the North and South Pole. And if we go back to the Gerardus Mercator map that you talked about last week. Okay. Who was Gerardus Mercator?
Gerardus Mercator?
Who was it?
Oh, tell me.
You should know, Jacob. You're the one that told me about the map, dog.
It's been a minute.
All right.
Tell me more about him.
No,
I didn't look that deep into him. That wasn't the main subject. Map, all I did was find the map.
So Gerardus Mercator, he was a geographer, he was a cosmographer, and a cartographer. But oddly enough, he really didn't travel. He didn't travel, dog. But how can you be these things? Like, if you look up this man in history, that's what they claim him as, and everything he wrote about was about these things. But how do you learn about that? So this man was very fluent in 6 different languages. So he was able to interact with people from all over the world.
He knows it all.
Okay. And
dude, I can barely speak English.
Right? I struggle. So he managed to form this map that actually, this map is like a very big deal. If people, like, we talked about it last week, but it really is a big deal. Because this is one of the first, it's like one of the first
historians hate
maps.
They hate it. They don't want to believe it.
So he managed to make this map through the means of books, maps, that have already existed at this point, and visitors and other people he had met. So just other people he's met in time. But like I said, he was fluent in all these different languages, and he was able to interact with people that, most people wouldn't have been able to take all of this information and put it together. Because, unless you're able to talk to people in another language, you're not going to be able to learn about what they know.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at his map, which was in 1560 something, I think.
It was 1500s. I know that.
It was in the 1500s. If you look at his map, the center of it shows a hole right in the middle of the North Pole. Shows a hole into the North Pole. So that takes us back to Herodotus. No.
Herodotus.
No. So both Herodotus and John Sims. So John Sims claimed the Earth is hollow. Okay. So
prove it.
Whole being, he said, prove it. So now we are sitting at, if you're looking at the map, hole in the North Pole. Bars.
There it is. Hole in the pole.
This is where things get kind of wild. Okay. As if it weren't weird enough. All right, at this point.
What kind of weird we getting?
So, being honest with you, all right. Going through school, right? We learned about World War I, we learned about World War II, we learned about who Hitler was, we learned about what his agenda was, right? And then
you want world peace.
Oh yeah. So if I'm being honest with myself, right? I really didn't know what the Aryans were. Okay? Like, could you, if I asked you right now, what were the Aryans?
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
That's all you got for me, right? That's all we know.
Purebred. You want them to be pure.
So here's the thing.
It was like the blood of gods or something is what he thought they had or something like that. It was like super good blood.
He said super good blood.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, okay. So I really didn't know that much about it until I started doing this, and now I know what they actually were.
Dude,
and
he was tweaking off meth and was like, we're going to ascend to Godship.
100%. This man was bonkers, brother. Hitler was crazy. He was absolutely nuts. So in 1871, Edward Leighton wrote a book in which he describes a superior race. Okay? And he called it the Vrilya. And he claimed that these people lived beneath the earth and planned to conquer the world with psychokinetic energy. Okay?
What is
and
this?
In this
the mind damage in Elder Scrolls games?
Not Elder Scrolls,
Elden Ring?
No, yeah, Elden Ring. But he claimed that the Vril were connected to. So this is in 1871. This is a man who he is from England, I do believe. He claimed that the Vril descended from the people of Thule, being the descendants of Hyperborea, being quite possibly Atlantis. Okay,
heck yeah,
quite possible. So a little bit later on after that, in the year 1903, individual Bal Talak, he wrote a book. Okay, and this individual, he is from India. Okay, so we're talking. There's a distance, and he wrote a book called The Arctic Home of Vedas.
Man, there are names in here.
He too stated that the Thulians. He said this. Where is everybody getting Thules from, dude? He stated that the Thulians migrated south. So the people from Hyperborea migrated south to Thule.
Mhm.
And then this man stated that the people from Thule migrated even further south, which would take us into, did they make it to Sweden?
I mean, at that point, perhaps.
Did they make it to Sweden? And in the earliest 20th century, the earliest 20th century, a lot, I don't even know how this is a thing. Not how. I don't know why this was a thing. There were actually a lot of people in German society believed that they were descendants of the Aryans that migrated from Thule.
Mm.
And
They
who
just went to Germany?
one of these people being Hitler.
Hitler.
So, in Hitler's rise to power, right, he was actually influenced by multiple people into believing that the Aryan race is a thing. Like, this exists. So, he kind of, his brain started kind of frying like an egg, all right?
That's fine, dude.
He was one of those individuals that talked to Hitler about the Aryan race of individuals was Karl Haushofer, and he was a German military advisor to different countries, and he founded an actual society in Berlin. It's called the Vril Society of Berlin.
I think I've heard about this, actually.
And so, all right, so we take it back, right? The first individual that talked about it was Edward Lytton in England, and he wrote about a superior race called the Vrilia. And
Yeah, I've heard about them.
Karl created a society called the Vril Society of Berlin. And this man was absolutely obsessed with the idea, basically, that the people of Atlantis were real. Okay?
Mhm.
And he wanted to know. This man he so badly needed, he was doing everything in his power to find out, is this possible? And dude, there's pictures. You can see pictures of this. Like, this was one of Hitler's right-hand man. Like, this was like one of those guys. And there's pictures of like him and Hitler together, and it's just the scariest thing in the world. It's like it's horrifying. So Karl was absolutely obsessed with the idea of the Aryan race, and he actually believed that yes, the Thulians migrated south, but they made it to Central Asia. And there's an interesting reason why, okay? And so now Karl, he's telling Hitler, we need to find out about this. He has Hitler ready to, where did we come from?
Right.
So Hitler, he creates the Bureau for the Study of Ancestral Heritage.
Rad.
This is an actual thing, all right? Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I have cited in here that is like actual concrete. This stuff exists. And like I said, I did not know, I really didn't know what the Aryans actually were prior to me reading into all of this. So this is like the craziest thing in the world. So the Bureau for the Study of Ancestral Heritage, they were in charge of researching Germanic runes and the origin of the swastika and locating the source of the Aryan race. And so, of course, right? Karl's on board. He said, we did it. I convinced him we're going to find this. All right. We got this. So, in in all this, right? This takes us, why Central Asia, right? Why did he think Central Asia? Okay. So, in Central Asia, there is a place that people refer to as the land of 1,000 names. A couple of the names being the land of white waters and the land of the living gods. All right.
Oh,
Okay.
oh.
And oddly enough, okay, this actually comes from it's a religion called it's the Bonpo. Okay, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. So it's the
I've never
Bonpo.
heard of that.
Neither have I until I researched this. It's actually the Bonpo are actually the Tibetan Buddhists. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And in Tibet, a lot of their traditions are based around this place called Shambhala.
Shambhala?
Shambhala.
Shambhala.
No, Shambhala.
You ever played Uncharted 2?
Dude.
You ever play Uncharted 2?
I have. But, dude, listen.
This is why
it's crazy.
Dude, you ever been to Tibet in Uncharted 2?
Doug, I swear, dude.
I'm not kidding. It's in it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Dude, it's so weird. That's why I like this stuff, dude. I was in it so young because of that game, dude. I was like, this is crazy. And then Assassin's Creed came out, and I was like, oh, it's over.
It's all over.
It's over.
Dude,
religion doesn't exist. And we've been to Shambhala.
Right, yeah, and we've been to Shambhala. So, Shambhala, right? It is very, to this day, very, very deep in all of the Tibetan traditions, which is like crazy to think about that. Shambhala being, they speak of it as an earthly paradise or a place where gods dwell. And this place is referenced in many very, very historic Hindu texts. And I'm going to butcher these names real hard. I know one of them. I know how to pronounce one of them, and it's the Vishnu Purana.
Purana?
Yeah, sorry. Vishnu Purana. Jacob got it. See, I didn't even know how to do it.
I don't know if that's how you say it. Looks like that's how you say it.
The Kalakra Tantra and the
Mahabharata.
There you go. Jacob's got it. So Shambhala.
I know of the Mahabharata.
It is referenced in these texts are like very like
they're prominent.
They're very
Hindu
big
texts.
The Vishnu Purana is actually like, you can go look it up on, is it the Vishnu Purana? You can go and look up the entire script. You can read all of these actually online, which is crazy. And so all of these speak of this earthly paradise, right? And in Sanskrit, Shambhala translates to the land of peace or the land of happiness or a place of tranquility. And it's so odd that like every single one of these people, it's narrowing down, like it's literally coming from the North Pole and it made its way southeast.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the craziest thing. And all of them are saying that it's like, if you go back to the start of last week when you were talking about Atlantis and how Plato referenced it as people who are half god, half human.
Yeah, the homeland of the evil ones.
Yeah.
The Egyptians talked about them being a certain way. Plato talked about them being a very similar way.
It's so wild.
There's a few theories on what they could be. I know that much.
Wild.
And so, you're getting into one of them, I can see.
Ooh. Yeah. So, the Bonpo, which is it's like an indigenous sector in Tibet, the Bonpo, and I actually do believe it's the religion is called Bonism, and there definitely are still people in Tibet that follow this, and both the Bonpo and the Hindu talk about Shambhala, right? And the Bon scriptures the Bonpo scriptures, they refer to it as Tagzig Olma Lungring. Okay. And so they actually believe in Tibet, they believe that the entrance is in the Himalayas. They believe it is in the Himalayas in an abandoned monastery. And there was somebody I was already too far along. I already had too much info, and I wasn't sure how long this was going to be. All right. There is another individual in history that was super obsessed with finding Shambhala. All right. And
he couldn't get past the Yeti guarding its front gate, right?
Skyrim.
Dark Souls style.
No, it's Dark Souls. I was talking Skyrim, dude. No. So he went on it was weeks. He went and spent out in the Himalayas, and he got a guide. And I believe it was a Tibetan monk. And
dude, this is Uncharted 2.
Bro, listen. On this trek out there, trying to find the entrance to this place, he lost 5 people that were with him. 5 people.
Dude,
died.
This is Uncharted 2. No. Would you go back and play Uncharted 2? You're gonna play it and go, hold on.
But see, this is the thing. This is stuff that actually this happened.
I know.
This happened.
That's why I like Uncharted so much. This isn't Indiana Jones.
He said, "Who cares about Indiana Jones? Uncharted's way cooler."
It is, dude.
So he claimed in some of his notes that he was brought by this Tibetan monk to a monastery out in the Himalayas, and when they made it to the monastery, there was a spot at the monastery that had these ornate bricks or blocks, I guess would be. It was a whole wall. And the wall was decorated, and the monk basically told him, "It's gonna open when the world's ready."
So you just gotta learn the Tibetan word for friend, right?
Yeah, I swear, 100%, dude. Melon.
That's
Melon. Right?
When the world is ready, dude, it's gonna open.
It's gonna open. Yeah. So, like I said, the people of Tibet to this day, the land of Shambhala is very ingrained in their society. It's a very big deal. And the Dalai Lama still talks about. He talks about it today.
Dude, the Dalai Lama told the kid to suck his tongue, okay? Can we really trust the Dalai Lama?
Well, I mean, nobody said you gotta trust him.
You brought the Dalai Lama up, all right? That was the first thing that comes to mind. He did it to himself.
Yeah, all right, that's true. So where am I going with Shambhala, right? All
Tibet.
Right,
we're going to Tibet.
We're going to Tibet because Carl believed the Aryan race made it to Central Asia. Tibet, dog. It's Tibet.
Yeah.
Tibet. He said, Jacob's giving dude the face. He said, yeah. So, Hitler believed that the Aryans after it hit the fan, right? After Ish hit the fan, they decided to move to more secure regions, and he believed that the Himalayas were one of those regions, right? And Carl, he believed that the Atlanteans, which is the craziest thing. This man, Carl, wholeheartedly believed the Atlanteans existed. So much that he convinced Hitler,
allegedly,
that he says allegedly, that
Hitler might
the Aryan race is a thing. Yeah, that's true. Right? Yeah. Could you imagine? But he convinced Hitler that the Aryan race, the German race, was basically the purest form of the Aryan race.
I know. Yeah, exist. It's nuts.
And the only reason he thought it was the purest form is because he believed that the Atlanteans or the Aryans that made it to Central Asia, they mixed with the people of that area. Okay.
Makes sense.
And so after a long period, actually, the Tibetan people did not want the Germans coming in to do anything. They did not want that. They were not a fan of it. And after a very long period of time, it was I believe it was a couple of years, which is crazy because, you know, Hitler. They managed to convince the Tibetans to let five people go into Tibet. And how did these people pull up into Tibet?
Tanks.
On horses. Nope, horses with swastika flags.
And tanks.
Not
like
tank
it's Uncharted 2, and they blew
Not
up all the buildings. And you
It's
have
just
to,
Uncharted 2.
dude, it is the hardest escape of a tank you've ever seen.
Do it.
Anyways, and that's how we won
That's
World
how
War
they-
II.
That's it. It was all Uncharted 2. So the swastika actually is very the Hitler took the swastika, right? You know that, correct? It is not like a German thing.
I feel like
it is
somebody's
used-
told me that.
It is used very widely across Asian culture, like very widely across Asian culture. And it is actually in their society, it's a very great like symbol.
Yeah, that's right. I have heard
it is.
that. I have.
And
Yep.
like it's like sucks that I think for a lot of people, like the swastika is just straight. It's just ingrained in you that like Nazis, right? You know, like
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's the way it goes.
right. So, but the people of Tibet, right? These 5 Germans show up, and the people of the Tibetan area that they went to, they like kind of greeted them with open arms. They were very excited to see these individuals. All right. So here's the downside of this, right? Okay. I mean, the downside being they were quite literally at this point in time, they were Nazis. Okay. First downside. The second downside is these people, let them come to Tibet and kind of invade their privacy. And these people were excited that these people were here to like learn about their culture. And all these dudes did was they pulled up and they were just like, we're just going to study you. Okay. And how are we going to do this? These people, the German people, they took, it was like over 40,000 photos of these individuals, 40,000 photos. They took back, they took many artifacts, I say artifacts, but trinkets, I guess, so to speak, from these people. They would also, they were doing like, I don't want to say testing, but the way that they interacted with these people was terrible. They were measuring the people's faces and skulls to prove that they originated from the Norse people.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. So they were trying to get these, like they wanted to prove, I guess, so to speak, that due to the facial structure of these people, that yes, the Aryans mixed with the people of that area, and then this is the descendants of such. And that's why Carl believed the Germans were the purest version of the Aryans. And so he pretty much was just on this like kick, like, we're better than you. Yeah, and not only that, so they took tons of pictures of people. They treated them kind of poorly on, like I said, with the measurements of like, they were just like all up in people's personal space, okay? And they would make casts of their faces, their hands, and their ears. And there were some people that almost died while they were making the casts of these people's faces.
Suffocating and whatnot.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. So
we can't get it off.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Oh,
like well, you know, dang.
He stopped moving.
Yeah, right.
Are you ready for a snooze?
In due time, basically, they never came up with any sort of evidence whatsoever in their time period being there. And Hitler was just like, dog, this ain't it. Get out of there. And he straight up was just like, no, you're leaving. We're not doing this no more. Like, we're done with this. So the Germans could never prove that the Atlanteans made it that far. But it's so weird thinking about it. Like, talking all the way back to Plato, right? All the way back to Plato. There's like a historical timeline that the North Pole, I'm not going to say there's a hole in the North Pole, right?
Right.
Because I have no idea. And
you ever been?
I have not. But Admiral Byrd, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Admiral Byrd from the U.S., he went on, they did an expedition in Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of the very first people, I believe, to have flown over the North Pole.
And it was just a little flight that apparently was supposed to be 30 minutes. He said he was gone for hours.
Yeah, yeah.
He had enough fuel for like 30 minutes, and he said he was gone for hours.
But, like, I mean, I guess you could attribute that to, like, freezing, but...
Well, that, and, like, if you're just looking at white for so long, you probably
how do you know?
Man, I've been doing this for hours.
Yeah. But, yeah, the U.S. did an expedition in Antarctica back in the 50s, I believe it was, or the 40s. It may have been the 40s and 50s. And dude, this expedition, like, it's not really talked about, and you don't learn about it in history class because it was during the time frame. Oh no, it was probably the 40s because it was, I believe, during the same time frame as World War II. It was believed that Hitler had sent his own expedition up to Antarctica, and in actual history, like, you can go look this up, they were looking for, like, a replacement for margarine, and they kind of set up camp up in Antarctica. And so the US was like, nah, dog, we ain't letting this happen. So we sent this expedition to Antarctica, and if you look it up, dude, we sent like 40,000 people to Antarctica.
Just cause
40,000.
we're better.
Why? We sent
I wonder if it was
warships,
like them going like,
planes.
We can just set up a whole town here and then just claim it as ours.
It's
and
cool
then
because
they got there and they were like,
oh yeah, right. Oh no.
40,000 people are gonna fall off the edge of this thing if we stay here for too long.
I swear. No, but so Admiral Byrd was you can actually go look up. There's interviews with him, like on TV. You can go look at the interviews, and I was watching one the other night, and it was just like the most mind blowing thing because, he stated at one point that it was past the North Pole is the land that people have not seen. Is the way he put it. He's like, that's where people haven't seen. And there's some conspiracy theories floating around there about Admiral Byrd, and that he had a secret diary, and he actually passed it along to his son, and his son, in the time he was going to be releasing said diary, he kind of died in the same way his dad did. Very
suspicious,
surprisingly, I guess, so to speak. But that's all I got, Doug. Well, are the people of Tibet from Atlantis? Are they?
Man. I don't know. Is the Earth hollow?
Is the Earth hollow?
Do you know the other things that they think about the hollow Earth theory, like the more outlandish stuff?
Well, before we get there, like I said, I think this was before we started recording. I think it was before that all across the globe, like there's all across the globe. I'm talking like there's the people in Mexico. We already talked about obviously the people in Tibet, but then you also have the people in there's the people in China that talk about a city underground. There's also the Native Americans here in the U.S. that talk about a city under the ground. Like, there are so many areas in the world that talk about a city underground, also known as Agartha. Agartha.
It's wild.
The Hollow Earth theory is wild, and people don't talk about the Hollow Earth theory.
They thought like tall aliens lived under the Earth.
That's
like the big one about Hollow Earth, is that it's just like tall beings live in like a journey to the center of the Earth, perfect environment.
I mean, but then, like I said though, most of these societies that have mentioned a holy land underground, they all say that. Dude. Is that it's like the just most beautiful, serene thing to exist.
Now, what if I told you?
Oh no.
I have a theory that plays directly off of everything you already just told me.
Yes! So guess what, baby?
You just literally teed me up for next time.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I'm so excited. But no, like reading into all of this was like the most mind-blowing thing. Like, if you've never like, all right, I've watched videos of like conspiracy theory stuff like in the past, right? Mm-hmm. But then like doing my own research into this,
did you feel like Nathan Drake?
I swear.
I felt Jacob, like Indiana Jones.
Let's go to Tibet. Come on, dog. Let's go.
I don't really want to.
No. He says pass. Yeah.
You know where I want to go?
Huh?
I sent this to you earlier today. There's a place in Ohio.
Yeah, dude. What is that?
It's just a big snake.
Dude.
Serpent Mound is what they call it. And guess what? There's carbon datable stuff to when?
Stop.
12,000 years ago.
All right, I'm ending the podcast.
It was a sacrificial, like I don't know what kind of site, but yeah,
brother, stop.
There's like charred wood and whatnot that you can carbon date. Yeah. The face of the snake facing directly at the sun when it rises.
Dude, stop. Yeah,
and it's the same thing where it's like it aligns with the sun, but if you go back 12,000 years ago with the way the sun moves, it's even more perfect.
Oh, well, never mind. I thought you were going to be like, yeah, it's way off.
But no, it's even more on point.
It's literally even better, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, but
weirdest thing.
I learned some crazy stuff that is like factually true, all right? But then there's like stuff that obviously that plays into the conspiracy theory thing.
There's always just enough to make you go, man.
Like, what if? But the Carl guy, right? Okay. Dude, Hitler believed Atlantis was real, and they were the perfect race, and they were going to find him. It's like,
always been a holy war, dude. You know, they say every war is a holy war.
But how is that not explained more in history? Because I've always been taught, right, that the air, like, you're just pushed into your face, like the Aryans, blonde hair, blue eyes. They're supposed to be perfect.
Because that's such a allegedly part of the thing.
It's literally not alleged at all. Like,
okay, there's but hear me out. If you were to say there was a believed race that was superior to the regular human race. Wait, hold on. And then all the while, these kids are going home and going, Lord, thank you for this day. You know what kind of issue that's going to cause?
I mean, it's true, but we're talking about a single individual that did one of the most heinous things in history.
Yeah, but what if people start looking into it and then they go, "Oh, this guy was onto something."
I mean, that's true, I guess.
And then you have all these people that are like, "I think maybe being Nazi isn't that bad."
No,
because they're all about the Aryan race.
That's true.
So 23andMe would get lots of money, but half of us would be dead.
You're right. But it's just like mind blowing that the fact that that's literally not told to you at all. Like I was never told Hitler believed Atlantis was real and we, or the Germans specifically, descended from them.
I mean,
Dog.
Allegedly.
Not alleged. He did.
Did Hitler say that himself?
Yeah, dude.
Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Did he write it down?
I wasn't there.
But then we got it.
You got me. Yeah, you're right. He said take it with a grain of salt. That's true.
We don't even know if Hitler killed himself in that bunker.
I wasn't there. Nobody was.
Nobody was.
Nobody was. Did
And
he
the
go
only
to
people that were?
Antarctica? Did he?
The only
Did he
people.
go? Did he go to Antarctica, dude? Did he?
Some
Did
days I wonder if I even woke up in the morning or if I'm still dreaming. So,
dude.
you ever be like halfway through the day and be like, this would be crazy if I was just dreaming.
It would be great. It would be great.
If I just woke up and it was 8 a.m. again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but like, I mean, if at any point in time, like you're like, all right, like I said, I've watched conspiracy theory videos and I've heard, everybody's heard conspiracy theories, right? You've heard the JFK stuff. You've heard we talked about the birds not being real. There's a conspiracy theory.
Dude, China.
Finland.
Did you see?
Finland ain't real.
Did you see?
No. What would I have seen? No.
China created bird drones. They look
Stop it.
legitimately real and they're unmanned.
I don't want to be here anymore,
over.
dude.
It's
He said
over.
they're literally going to replace birds.
Dude.
Birds are about to not exist. I hate it here. Dude. No.
First it was mosquitoes. Shout out
Stupid
Bill Gates. Now it's birds.
Birds. Right. That's great. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
crazy.
saw it today and I was like, oh
Oh,
no.
oh no. He said, oh no. But yeah, no, just for fun, right? Just take some time to do a deep dive on a conspiracy theory that you think is cool. Just to learn something. Because I learned
Uncharted 2.
I learned about some crazy people. I'm not saying like they were nuts. I mean, obviously Hitler was. But I learned about some just very interesting individuals in history. Like very, and some very interesting stuff. Like I said, these places are talked about. Shambhala,
I can't
Agartha.
believe you didn't know about this stuff sooner. That's the
Dog, I played Uncharted like 15 years ago. And
me too.
Dog, I wasn't as invested as you were.
That's
it
not
was
even the
Uncharted,
point.
dude. He was
That's not
Indiana
even
Jones.
the point. That's
He
not
was
even the
Indiana
point.
Jones.
You know about the back rooms, but you don't know about
You
the ice wall.
Yeah, I know. No,
You don't know about the Anunnaki. You ain't.
No, zero.
Man's never read the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Listen, both Gilgamesh and the Anunnaki were mentioned in my reading in this, but just in passing, because it really didn't have a lot to do with this stuff.
That's what you think.
It's dude.
That's what you think.
Is the Earth hollow at the end of the day? Is it?
I don't know. We've never been able to get that far. I think it was the Soviet Union was the furthest to drill down. It was like 5 miles, and then they're like, it's way too hot, and this is way too just not worth it. I'm not even kidding. They straight up said, we got to pull the plug.
Yeah.
The funding just ain't there.
Let's not. Yeah,
They were literally like drilling inches, and then the bits would just melt.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Like, we talk about how much of the ocean we haven't explored. We've explored literally none of the ocean. Like I can't even
5%.
Dude, 5%. All right, that's nothing. That's less than nothing. That is a dot in space, dude. But then there's places on Earth that we really haven't discovered. I mean, like
Machu Picchu was lost 2 times.
You do. That's crazy.
Imagine forgetting to mow your lawn and then being like, oh yeah, I lost the entire city.
I lost the city, dog.
And then going, oh, I found it. And going back to get everybody and be like, I found it. And then losing it.
Oh, dang,
Oh, it
guys.
was here, but the grass grew back
He says
again.
it was here.
Dude, who put fertilizer back here? This stuff's growing.
Yeah, right.
Who put Miracle Grow on Machu Picchu, dude?
No, but like specifically talking about, the people in Tibet. You know how much of the Himalayas we have not discovered because of how cold it is? Like even like people that are Mongolian like kin, dude. Like the toughest of the tough in that land. Like these people that just
descendants of the
are
Mongols.
Straight warriors will not go explore the Himalayas because of how cold it is.
Yeah, what do you want to die?
I'm saying, like, there's some crazy. Did you know the Himalayas are thought to have been a seabed?
Hey, man, the ocean covered the whole earth at one point, right?
Wild.
I don't know if I buy that, but I mean, I guess if the plates, and they collide, you make the mountains.
That's
at one
true.
point, they were the sea. At one point.
100% that's what a mountain is. But
that makes sense then. If they looked at it and went, that was probably an ocean. Yeah, I could look at anything.
Yeah.
I go outside now. I look at the little carving along Dad's house and be like, oh, that was probably a river at one point.
100%. We found shells out there, dude.
Dude, our father tried to tell me for years that was not a river. That was a river.
Fight him. Dude,
limestone shells. It
fine.
dropped off like it was a little river waterfall type thing. Dude,
we
get out of here.
literally found, limestone.
Limestone bigger than my body.
Like we're talking like chunks of limestone that are like a foot wide, dude.
Not even, dude. There was huge chunks of it. Huge, massive boulders of limestone.
Yeah, and our dad was just like, no.
That ain't
it.
That ain't
There's
it. No way. You see these trees? What, you just fall out of a coconut tree?
But yeah, so the semi-hollow earth theory, because like I said, there was a lot that was added in there. A lot. Just like the the fact that there is a historical timeline of people recording that they believe that the people from Hyperborea basically, just like I said, they migrated southeast. Like it's a thing.
Yeah,
so
it's nuts. I mean,
I don't want to be here anymore.
I don't know what to believe anymore, Every day that goes by, ChatGPT won't even give us the right time of day.
No, you lying.
No, dude, I was watching, remember H3H3?
Yeah.
He's got a show on YouTube now he does, live streams, and he asked ChatGPT what time it was, and I think it was like 1 p.m. his time, and it says it was 10:43, and then he's like, what? No, and then he asks it, and it says, I don't have access to real-time data. I shouldn't have lied. And it like gets serious, and it's like trying to change the subject and whatnot. I'm not kidding. It's like,
bro,
okay, I get it. You're upset. Please, can we just move on? Like, I'm not kidding. It's like, next time, I won't lie. Next time, I'll tell you the truth. And he did. He says, what time is it? It's like, how can I help you? And then he's like, what time is it? And it just says, I don't have access to real-time data information. You should check a clock or your phone.
That fast.
It's crazy. It's like
horrifying.
teaching a kid, though. That's what they say. That's why you're supposed to just like teach it and like let it grow up with how you respond.
Groom it.
It is weird. Don't do that.
Don't do that. No, that's it. Really, that's wild, dude. Look at how far we've came. All right, Atlantis. Now we have AI. It's okay.
Dude, not only that, we've got chips in brains. Dude, we got weights in fish. We got weights in fish. You ever seen that video?
No, why would I have seen that?
We got weights in fish.
I'm not Googling this.
Dude, this guy, right? Walleye fishing at a competition. Cheated. Putting fish weights in, I think, smaller fish. And then those fish were getting eaten by a walleye or something like that. He put weights in
that's
his
genius, though, right? Because if the smaller fish, if the walleye eating a bunch of small fish that are all just like 10 pounds, dude, he killing it.
I can't find the video. I'll find it later at some point.
Tight. This sucks being able to do an episode like this and then like
I gotta go back to normal.
Well, no, that doesn't suck. but like I can't. I have nowhere to put this. The sources that are cited. Like, I mean, I guess I could do like a what is it, Pastebin document, and I could put it on Twitter, I guess.
You know, they want to find more detail. They can deep dive it.
I guess. No, I'm still gonna do the Pastebin thing.
I mean, if you want to.
There's tons. Like, you guys can't even see the fact that I cited these books, like these actual books that people, the ones that we talked about. Like, I've cited
you didn't
them
cite
in this.
Lafitte Doo.
Lafitte, the
How are you not going to cite the Son of God?
Actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. I tried to Google that Lafitte Dieu, and it just brings up French, but I didn't type in book after that. Yeah, dude.
No, it doesn't. It literally brought the book up.
Yeah, I brought the book up on Amazon, but then after that, everything else was in French.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, he says
Duolingo.
Yeah,
Sponsor
10 out
me.
of 10.
Sponsor us, please.
Sponsor us, Duo. Shout out Duolingo. No. Where are we? All right, that's it.
You got
the Hollow Earth theory.
The Hollow Earth theory. Shout out Hollow Earth. Shout out Hitler. Not really.
No, he says not really.
Did you know?
No. But
sidebar on the sidebar on the sidebar that there are like prominent Nazi villages in Southern America.
Oh,
because
I didn't know
Nazis
that. No, there's
just
a city.
fled
There's
there.
a city.
There's like,
there's
multiple.
A city.
Multiple.
What? Multiple?
Multiple. And it's like
Multiple?
you walk into the buildings and they're just like fully decked out in like German history and just like medals and stuff where people just like cherish it.
I mean,
just in
that's
South America.
Dude, South America's wild because, you know, there's also another society in South America that was the Confederate soldiers after the Civil War. After the Civil War had ended, they were like, yo, we don't, dude, screw America. And that they moved to South America and created their own town. And it, like, to this day, they like yearly do like celebrations, right? And like people are all dressed up in like Confederate outfits and throwing out the flag. Like, it's like the most mind-blowing thing in the world.
Man.
Dude.
History's crazy. Did you know North Carolina and Rhode Island didn't vote in the presidential election the first time? Because they rejected the Constitution.
How? Wait. We can't get into this, Jacob.
They rejected it. They said no thanks.
How?
Because the 13 colonies weren't like a unified state. They were like, imagine 13 countries with an agreement of being like, yeah, we're not going to be with Britain. And then the first constitution they wrote up, they're like, we're going to have a board from everybody of these colonies. It's going to decide what's going to happen in each state of these colonies. And we're going to enforce that. And then they were like, a couple years later, they're like, no, this isn't going to work because the separation of power just isn't there. And then they made the second constitution, which is Supreme Court, the judicial system, and all that. So really, our first constitution isn't even the constitution we have.
You're breaking my brain. See, you learn something new every day.
I learned that today.
You learned that today?
Yep.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I guess I just thought, you know, the 13 colonies, that was the beginning of the America.
No, like, they were all just like separate. Like everybody came over and then they're like, yeah, we're going to go do our own thing. We're going to do our own thing. But they all just recognized that we were all colonies just doing our own thing. So if like they hadn't come to the agreement that we need a full body that's going to unify us, it would have just been like Europe. It would have been Europe.
Yeah, 100%.
Europe 2.0.
Chaos. It'd have been chaos. Wow.
And it almost was just straight up a board of people just going like, yeah, we're gonna. It was, and the thing was, our government was like, so we don't want the people to vote for the president because that's not smart. But we also shouldn't vote for it because everybody's gonna hate the fact that we're making all the decisions. So we're gonna make another body that the people vote for, and that body is gonna vote for the president.
The electoral college.
So essentially, our election day is just for the people that are going to decide who they want to be president. So you're not voting for anybody other than your opinion that might matter at the end of the day.
That's why people hate the electoral college, sir.
I know. It's just like crazy how that happened because basically the 13
because Rhode Island and North Dakota?
No, it wasn't that. It was just the whole, I guess most of the people of the colonies at the time were like, we don't like the fact that a group of people. They
straight up said, Jacob, they literally said, everybody's idiots. We don't trust any of them.
I know.
Well, he said the mass is stupid.
I don't know. I just think it's nuts how we came from Britain. We were like, so we're going to not do rules. We're going to be free. Yeah. And then from 1776, 10 years go by and they're like, okay, so we're going to make some rules now. And everybody's going to follow them. And if you don't, cool, but you're not with us. You're against us. And majority ruled. North Carolina and Rhode Island go, oh, we're going to test the waters.
Yeah, right. Like,
and 2 years later, they're like, okay, never mind. So from the jump, it was my rules or
my way or the highway, dude.
Yeah.
That's, dude.
Secede, I dare you.
It's my way. My way or the highway. Dude.
Quite literally.
Biscuit. No.
It's just nuts.
That's crazy.
And here we are.
Dude. We're just on a tangent now at this point.
It's all a conspiracy.
It's all.
Are we even talking, or is this AI generated?
No, Quebblecop. Go look him up on YouTube.
I know, right, dude? We're not
going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. All right. Anyways, so
I can't, dude. That just hit like something in my brain.
So, song rec. Do I have a song rec this week? Yes, of course I have a song rec. I told you last week I was ready with the song rec, dude, because I heard this song again on the Spotify DJ, and I was like, oh yeah. Kristen showed me this song.
Dude, I hate Spotify DJ.
I love Spotify DJ.
I hate Spotify DJ.
Love Spotify DJ.
Dude, you ever put AI shuffle on Spotify?
No, because that's a terrible idea.
I didn't even know it did it, and then it just kept playing Sabrina Carpenter. It was the same song. I had a playlist. It would randomly just be like, you want this? And then it just played Sabrina Carpenter.
Bros. No, pass. I don't turn that on. But the Spotify DJ slaps.
No, he doesn't.
And I had listened to this song multiple times. Kristen showed it to me. And it's she is a very big fan of 30 Seconds to Mars. Okay. She literally has a 30 Seconds to Mars tattoo. And
what about the rest of the 29 seconds?
Who cares about the 29 seconds? It's only 30. But so my song rec for the week, because this song absolutely slaps. Like the first time I listened to this, I was just like, what? The song is called Stuck by 30 Seconds to Mars. Go give it a listen. It's wild. It's in the playlist. It's already in the playlist. And look at us, Jacob and I. Dude. It's not Friday, but we're close. So guess what? If you were following us on the internet, after we finish recording, I'm about to go tweet that the new song's in the playlist. And guess what? After that, I'm not telling y'all. I'm not telling y'all. That's it. Just realize.
You know what's crazy?
Save the playlist. New music every week. What?
The speed of light is 186,282,000 miles per second. And if you multiplied that by 30 seconds to Mars is technically 5,588,460 miles.
Dude, I didn't know where you were going with this, but he's straight up.
That's technically 2,498,265.16 miles per second.
Oh my goodness. Well,
that's crazy.
Gets literal with the name, but yeah. Go check out the playlist. Don't mind me, I'm just hitting puberty.
Like,
yeah,
Scoob,
Reggie.
But yeah, check out the playlist. It is under the same name, 2 Degrees of Separation on Spotify. I really need to see if we can make one on Apple Music. I keep forgetting to. That is my bad. But like I said, if you're following us on the socials, you could be following us there. It is at the number 2 DOF Separation everywhere on the internet. And if you're following us, you'll know when we update the playlist.
Truth.
That's crazy. That's good. Free music, dude.
Free. We didn't make it.
Estate.
Well,
we didn't make it. What? No, we didn't. He says, well.
We're back to normal next week.
Back to normal next week. Conspiracy theories are over for the time being.
Yeah.
And if you guys enjoy this stuff, we might be back. You never know. You never know.
I'm gonna be back.
Jacob's already got his lined up for the next time. Like basically,
might
Jacob
as well be written out at this point.
Jacob did his. Jacob did the first one, all right, and then he did the second one, and I followed up with mine that had a lot to do with his last one, and now he's got one that has to do with mine.
It's all been trickling down somehow from episode 1, really.
It's just one giant conspiracy theory.
I like how your first one that we did, did a bunch of multiple like smaller ones.
Smaller ones, yeah.
And now you this is the way to do it.
He said this is the way.
Isn't it much more entertaining when you focus in on one though?
Dude, 100%.
Because it's like
I said,
the
research was fun.
Yeah,
it was actually fun.
It's like connecting weird real puzzle pieces that you're like, how are people just walking around not talking about this all the time?
It's because people don't it's just not talked about. Like, that's the thing.
I know, but that's what I think all day. I'm like, I'll read about this stuff and go, man, nobody's talking about this stuff. What's going on?
I mean, I have reason to believe that there's definitely, people in the world that are like actively trying to find out about certain things for sure.
Shout out Graham Hancock.
Whatever he said.
Randall Carlson.
But song rec of the week, Stuck by 30 Seconds to Mars. Follow us on the socials at the number 2 DOF separation. And if you enjoy the podcast, leave us a rating. Subscribe to the podcast. Download each episode every week. Dude.
Download them. You lose internet? If you're in Tibet? If you're in the Himalayas?
You're flying? You're going to Tibet, dude?
If you're flying over the northern part of Antarctica and come across mammoths in the tundra, put us on.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about it right now.
Perfect background noise, right? It's
perfect.
Perfect.
Two weirdos going through puberty. Ah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's about it. That's all I got, dude. Shout out the Hollow Earth theory. That's crazy.
Shout out the game theory.
Ooh. All right. Anything else, Jacob? That it? We good?
Last week I went to turn into work and met face to face with a state trooper, and neither of us did anything. So I went around him, turned left into work, and he just went back into regular traffic and didn't turn at all.
All right.
Why? Why do you do that? Why do you do that?
Just because he can. That's why.
Anyways, that was just on my mind.
There you go.
Yeah, you asked if I had anything else. I didn't get pulled over. I didn't get a ticket. I'm fine, dude.
There we go. Hey.
I pulled into work, got out of my car, went inside, light speed. Might as well call me 30 Seconds to Mars because it was 30 seconds to the front of the building from that point forward.
Listen, the registration on my car expired. Do I have the tag?
Don't tell people that.
No, listen. No, do I have the tag? Yeah, I have the tag. I have.
You're just
lazy. I just haven't put it on. I'm just lazy. Yeah. So I'm just waiting for the day at this point. It's been like 2 weeks. But anyways,
it's fine.
On that note,
happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Happy day. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. And good night.
Good night.